Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are going over the short-term charts in massive amounts of detail, discussing the recent weekly consolidation range and whether or not Bitcoin is going to break upwards. We'll be diving into exactly what you should be paying attention to and the key indicators that you can utilize to prepare and execute the next moves. We'll also be jumping over the total cryptocurrency market cap, Bitcoin dominance, the daily charts, and of course, the macro chart for Bitcoin. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, click the pinned comment in the free channel to our VIP information. You can contact me over here to find out all the VIP information, or you can click these links down below to find out our entire trading track record, 39 months of trading data, all the details for the memberships. You'll get access to our main VIP where we post trading setups, as you can see, with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses. You'll get trade justification, including access to our group chats, our general chat, our trade setup chat, our news, our help, and our daily video chat. If that is what you're interested in, go ahead and contact me via those links, and let's go ahead and jump into the video. So taking a look at the short-term price action over the past couple days, we're looking around about a week now. Bitcoin has been basically sideways chopping between the price points around $57,000 to $60,000, and Bitcoin is still very much in this sideways consolidation, this slight downward trending sideways consolidation, and we have some critical levels such as this RSI downtrend and this diagonal trend line we're going to be discussing in today's video. We're going to be talking primarily what are the likelihoods or what are the probabilities that Bitcoin does see a continuation through this resistance and up into the mid to high 60k range, and what are the likelihood that Bitcoin will actually see a failure to do so and a correction, alongside everything else that we mentioned at the start of the video. So again, the sideways consolidation has been going for a while now. If we do take a look at the last 24 hours of price action, Bitcoin did see an inability to sustain above that 60,000 psychological level, resulting in another short-term pullback back into that 57.7 to 57.3k region. Again, if you are in the free Telegram channel, you would have seen the post we made yesterday, which was we were expecting a short-term pullback towards this level of support. As stated in this message, we were looking for reversals to develop around 57.7 to 56.5, and we saw that reversal develop exactly from, if we look at that price point, literally exactly from 57.7. We're up around 2.5 to 3% since then. Moving over to the broader markets, we'll come on back to Bitcoin. The market data, 24-hour volume up 27%, 106 billion. 24-hour liquidations up 11%, 84 million. Of the 84 million, 50 million have come from longs and 30 million in liquidations have come from shorts. The DXY is crumbling underneath its major yearly uptrend, which is fantastic for risk asset markets. The S&P 500 is soaring, as we'll show you in a second. Bitcoin still kind of fumbling around, but there's so much more to what is going on with Bitcoin than just, of course, the strength of the dollar. But we can see the DXY is correcting here, which is inherently going to be bullish for risk assets. A good sign overall, and this is a very long-standing uptrend. We've held this since July 2023. We have now actually broken underneath this on the daily for the first time, guys, in over a year and a half. Crazy stuff. Moving over to the S&P 500, amazing weekly candle over here so far. Very strong on the prior weekly. We're seeing that momentum continue into the current week, pushing closer and closer to that weekly high price of around 5,680. Again, if we clear this level, we are basically going to see a clean shot for that 6,000 psychological level. Once again, we are expecting 6,000 provided we sustain above 5,300 on the weekly chart. So again, expect directional continuations to 6,000. If we ever drop below 5,300, that would result in the high time frame downtrend officially beginning, and then we would expect corrections lower. Overall, very, very good. That is it, guys. Let's jump into the rest of Bitcoin's analysis. Before we do, if you are interested in supporting the channel further and you do want 15% off your lifetime trading fees, including access to up to $5,000 in bonus rewards, sign up to my links down below for BitGet, BitUnix, and BingX. Again, these trading fee discounts can save you $10,000, $100,000, even more money. It's saved me a hell of a lot of money over the years I've been trading. Go ahead and check it out. It takes 15 seconds to make an account. Links down below. We'll play an ad and get back into it. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs, and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get stuck into Bitcoin, starting on the daily chart. And as you can see, we are back on the daily over here discussing that macro descending channel. And if you look at the daily chart, you can see just how much consolidation has been occurring in the last week within this price region we discussed moments ago. And we can see one very, very good thing, which is the current daily candle and even the prior daily candle, yesterday's daily candle, was able to sustain above that critical daily level of support represented by this faint gray box. Actually, what we might do is might turn this into a red box so we can see it a little bit better. This level is the level of the price at 58,200 to 58,350. It's a very, very small price range. But what it represents, it is going to represent the daily low, okay, we're talking about the body of the candle, the daily low of the first retest of the low side of the descending channel, as well as a critical bearish and bullish trigger point, which we have seen act in the prior retests of this range low. If we take a look, we saw a major point of support over here. When we lost this region, we saw directional continuations to range low. We held that exact price point as a resistance for 7 days. When we broke back above it, we saw directional continuations upwards to the midline. We came back down, we lost it. We saw a directional continuation to range low. We broke back above it, and we saw a directional continuation towards the midline. So we can see historically this level has acted as a pretty important daily level of support, as well as a daily trigger point, which we have been able to now close another daily candle above. And that is a very good thing. In fact, what we said a few days ago, when we dropped below this level, we told you that if we close a daily candle above this level of resistance, we will likely see a directional continuation to retest the midline prior to closing a daily candle back below it. And we still stand by that. And we're going to be discussing that in a lot more detail when we get to the short-term charts, but for now, that daily candle close is actually pretty decent. Let's briefly discuss the recent weekly candle close and then move into the analysis even deeper. So the weekly candle close, again, was a candle of indecision. It's indecision because we had this massive upside wick, a massive body wick, massive downside wick, and a very small bodied candle. This is an indication of basically consolidation and, most importantly, indecision. What we can see though is just as that daily level closed above that horizontal level, the weekly candle has been able to sustain above this region as well. Another very important note is that even though we saw a red body, that red body did not engulf the prior green opening price of the prior weekly candle, which does tell us this is a consolidation of strength and indecision rather than overall weakness and exhaustion. So it's a good indication that we're actually finding a base level of support at this region that could potentially facilitate that upward continuation in the coming weeks, which we are now even seeing on this weekly candle. We're already up to a 3%. So moving back to the daily chart, Bitcoin is still very much within the confines of this major descending channel. And as we've said, Big consolidations lead to big reactions, and the larger the consolidation, I like to think of it like you're blowing up a balloon. The longer you blow it up, the bigger it gets, the bigger and louder the pop is when it eventually explodes. And it's generally the same that goes for these consolidation ranges. We generally do see larger reactions out of these consolidation ranges when they are larger in depth, so percentage depth, and time, longer consolidations, we see bigger reactions. So in this instance, we are in around a 24% depth channel. We're also in around a 5-month long consolidation. If we do see a break of the upside of this channel, we will very likely see a reactive move toward the upside when it does break. Furthermore, this is a descending channel formation. Descending channel formations are inherently a downtrend. It is a downtrending channel. We can't ignore that. We are in a downtrend, as we do have a downtrending resistance and a downtrending support. Naturally, the price is going to be moving downwards over a period of time. The angle of the channel is not very steep. It's around a 15-degree angle. It's not a very steep angle. So that downtrend over time is not going to be significant in terms of the price. The price variation comes from the depth of the channel, meaning the percentage difference between the entry price and the range high. The first range high is around 22%. That is where the channel's volatility comes from. If we look at it from a horizontal scale, even though we have essentially been moving down for 5 months, Bitcoin is at the same price it was when we entered the channel. So variance within the channel is high due to the fact that we are in a large depth. The channel is of massive depth. It is a large channel, so we see massive volatility. But the higher time frame change is very, very low. So with this massive amount of volatility, we see very little high time frame change on that price action since entering that consolidation, which is an indication this is a consolidation channel, not going to be distribution, meaning we're not expecting a break toward the downside and invalidation of this channel unless we do get the validation that this channel will not sustain. So let's talk about those two things now. At the moment, for Bitcoin to see a directional continuation to the range high, we 100% need to break over that midline resistance. Now, we'll discuss on the short-term analysis in a moment what it will take for us to break through that midline, but we need to know in the macro that we need to break through that midline to see a directional continuation to the range high. We know that the midline has acted as a barrier for continuations into the upper half of the channel. We can see over here resistance, we're going to see over here resistance. When we flip that resistance on the daily, we see continuations to range high. So we know that it is a trigger point. So for Bitcoin to see a directional continuation into the range high, we need to see that mid-level break. Simple as that. There's literally nothing more to it. We can see as well the 50 MA, the 50 moving average, is actually compressing against that midline. We also have the 200 moving average, which is pushing through. We haven't drawn that in, but the 200 moving average is pushing through it. We have a massive area of confluence around that region. We also have on the macro chart, if we look at the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud, the red line over here, that is also at around a price point of 61,600, which is literally exactly where that midline is, 61,600. It is literally sitting right on it. So we have these massive areas of confluence here on this structural level, which if broken would significantly shift the probabilities for directional continuations upwards, which further confirms or supports the statement and claim that this trigger point, if broken upwards, will result in a strong move high. So if we do see a strong move high, we need to see a break of the downtrend to then expect correctional continuations. Again, the measured move is the depth of the channel. Apply that to the distance of the breakout. Takes us to around $84,000 if broken. Moving to the downside, for Bitcoin to invalidate the inherently bullish structure, Bitcoin will need to break down from this consolidation. As a consequence, we would need to lose this downtrending support level as a daily close below it. A daily close below it, why do I say that? In all the retests, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 retests of this channel up and down. We have not seen a daily close above. Therefore, if we do see a daily close below or above, that would be the indication that the channel is potentially finally breaking, and that could be the sign for a directional continuation upwards. Pay attention to that. Let's jump into the short-term price action, because like we said, the most important thing here is, are we going to break the midline? And if we retest it, well, how could we do that? So let's jump in. So the short-term analysis is very important. If we take a look, we have some very interesting levels we're paying attention to. First and foremost, The 200 SMA and the midline resistance and the Ichimoku Cloud baseline and the 50 EMA in the daily all sits at 61,600. Literally right over here. So this orange line, that is the level we need to break to see a confirmation of a directional continuation higher. That is a level which is sitting outside of the current downtrend for Bitcoin. So how do we go ahead and retest it? What needs to happen for Bitcoin to push into this region? We could also note that above this region, if we zoom out very, very slightly over here and let that VRPV slightly adjust, what we can see is that the VRPV starts to significantly drop off until around $64,000 again, which is sitting at around this price point, well above the midline. So we know that if we break the midline, our first target for Bitcoin is going to be around $64,000. But how do we even break the midline? How do we even get up to that point in the first place? And that is when we're taking a look at our momentum. This is the RSI downtrend, which is a representation of the momentum of the price action since entrance and rejection from the 62K region since the 9th of August. This is the downtrend we have been in, and this is the representation, the derivative of that price action as an expression of the momentum of the price action during that period. What we can see is that the momentum is negative. We cannot break upwards when we have negative strength. We need to see a positive momentum shift. We need to see that momentum turn positive if we want any chance of pushing into that region. If we do, if we see that RSI push positive, if we see the breakout on the RSI and we see that 4-hour close above it, that is going to significantly increase the likelihood that Bitcoin retests this downtrend and breaks through it. And if we break through it, we know we are retesting that midline. That is how we retest the midline. So if you want to know how we're going to retest the midline, we need to see the positive RSI shift that is going to increase the likelihood of a retest of that midline. That is what we're watching for a bullish continuation, and that is what we're watching for that price to rise. Now, on the short-term analysis from a structural perspective, Bitcoin is sitting above a pretty major support level. This major support level is a level we've held now for about, we're looking at around 11 days. This is going to be the $57.3 to $57.8 thousand support. If we fail to hold this level, we run the risk of retesting the 56.5K. The 56.5K is going to be our first low retest of the channel. This is our initial sell side liquidity. What we notice is every time we lose this level, exhibit A, exhibit B, we see massive increases in downward volatility. So we can expect that if we drop below 56.5, as per what we have seen historically, as well as what the VRPV suggests, we could see a violent correction into the 54K region to retest a range low. That would massively hinder the time it will take for a directional continuation upwards, also increase the likelihood of an invalidation of the channel. That is the bearish scenario. So for that to happen, for our bearish scenario to play out, we need to see a loss of 56.5. A loss of 56.5 results in a correction to our next level of support, which happens to be the range low. We would expect reversals to develop from here. That is best case scenario, or worst case scenario, continuations lower. So as you can see by the notion that we are kind of pushing, Bitcoin is still chopping sideways. We can see some hope of reversals. We know what that would look like, and we know how and when to act. We know the macro implications of that, and we also know the downside risk, and we know what to do and how to prepare in case those occur. So until then, we are playing a game of patience. We are waiting for those indications to tell us we're going higher, to jump on and follow suit rather than trying to front run a chop zone. A lot of people try front run these chop zones and they end up getting chopped. That is why it's called a chop zone. It looks like it's going up, then it goes down. Looks like it's going down, then it goes up. Chop zones, okay? You have to wait for validation of continuations before acting sometimes, and that is what we're doing. Let's move over to Bitcoin dominance. It is a critical level of resistance here. Didn't sustain above. Good indication. Wouldn't like to see that continue upwards. If we do, we're going to see altcoins get hammered. But we are seeing a little bit of a correction here on the Bitcoin dominance chart. For altcoins to really start to go parabolic, this uptrend needs to be lost. Break the uptrend, altcoins fly upwards aggressively. Looking at the total market caps, we can see the total to market cap. This chart here, guys, is a carbon copy, nearly, of Bitcoin. It's literally a carbon copy of Bitcoin. You can see that midline acting as a level of resistance. We need to break above that region to continue on higher. Very, very critical level you should be paying incredibly close attention to, and you can see just how important this level of support really is, guys. If we lose this level of support, we could see the price actually correct to that sell side liquidity level. That is going to be worst case scenario for Bitcoin, for the total market cap, if that does occur. So ideally, we want to remain in this bullish channel and then continue higher, guys. That is what we're looking for. If we move to altcoins, a very similar thing over here. We do have this channel watching for a breakout of that range high for a directional continuation upwards. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Remember to check out the links down below, join the Telegram, sign up to the exchanges, get your 15% discount, join the community, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. See you then.